Unmuted. People, it feels so good to be back. Let's fucking go. We're going to keep this one quick, but we're going to start off slow, work our way into medium, and we're not going to be Mr. Po-Po. We're not going to be black and scam. We're not going to just yap, and what do streamers do? They yap, and I gotta get closer to God, yap, and dude, shut the f bro. All right, was it this, recently I saw a clip of Marlon. It's Marlon, but I'm gonna call him Marlon just because he's not acting like Marlon. He's acting weird. I saw a clip of this guy. I don't know much about this guy, but I know when something feels off. He said, Chad, I gotta get closer to God, and I think I'm always gonna be a Christian, but I'm gonna go to a mosque to just out of respect to show because I saw clips on Twitter of Muslims taking over New York City. You're speaking out of fear, you Marlon. That dude who wears makeup. Only he's trying to get the bitches. We don't know what Marlon's doing with his little Face Clan buddies. Like, we don't see him with bitches. We just see him smiling like a woman, saying, I'm gonna be really nice to Muslims. Because I saw so many in New York, and Mondani is telling me that I have no, I'm afraid of them. I'm afraid of them. And when you have to appease a group of people, by appease, I mean you legit have to bend at the knee because one day you might be in New York and you're just preparing for that day with a clip saying, this is getting too, I'm starting off too hot. I didn't even say hi. I didn't even do an intro. What am I doing? Because that's what a good speaker does. He slams the hook in. So we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second, but we'll start with an intro, okay? Because without an intro, we don't even know what we're recording, how we rewatch this in 20, 40 years. And after all the nuclear explosions, we don't know what's going on. We just know that it is Tuesday, February 24th. Why do you feel so good this month, Zherka? And it's because I'm in my star circuit. I'm born in this month, right? Not just born yesterday. Thank you for all the birthday wishes, right? This year, instead of saying, responding to all you guys, I said, you know what? I'll give them what I never give them. I'll give them another spaces because they like spaces. They like spaces more than camera content on the streets, right? I'll give them a spaces, right? And this is after doing a 7-hour call on thezerkaofficial.com. Do not find out that listening and watching someone, you turn into them too late. If you find that out, oh, I found that out when I'm 23 years old. I found that out when I'm 25. You're turning into the people you listen to. Is that not the greatest thing you could tell another human being? It's like, no, you actually have no choice but to join my website. You have no choice but to join my cult. You have no choice but to trust me. But who else do you got? You got Nico, Nick Fuentes. Um, who else do we have? Sonny Faz on Twitter. We have Clavicular. We have so many names, and only two names are pushing for you guys to individuate. But why, Zherka? If the crowd individuates, you don't benefit. That's actually not good. No, I don't. Different wave of health. It's like when remember when Clavicular streamed with Nick Fuentes recently, a month ago, I think. I don't know when it was, and the whole internet was just shitting on Clav. Every comment. because Clive said politics is gesture. And nobody realizes that he wasn't saying it to someone like me or anyone my age. He wasn't doing that. Clav, in his head, was, he's a smart guy. He's talking to a younger audience, like a really young audience. Like if you're 18, 19 years old, it's great to be tapped into politics. 100%. Was I tapped into politics at 18, 20 years old? I'm going to tell you the truth, man. Not really. I was watching World War II documentaries about people are like, whoa, that's kind of political. That's really political, actually. And I honestly, it feels like it's niche, but hold on, let me grab my coffee. Swallow that bitch whole. Were you into politics, yes or no, at that age, Zherka? And it's like, yes, of course. One in the chat if you were into World War II and from a very, very young age, way younger than 18. But, for the sake of the argument, we'll start here. It's like, dude, the only reason we all love Nick is because that World War II stuff, like that, we started off on that. That is that side of the internet. Will always be that side of the internet. There is not one flag on earth, and I don't call them flags because remember, I don't give a shit that I say this. Any flag on earth that is not the American flag, you can have fun with those countries. You can go around, you can go eat their food, you can, be a human, right? Don't waste your incarnation. Like go see the world. But any flag that's not an American flag, in just to me, not my mentor, not the people higher ups, not no one in my group, no one in my cult, just me personally, any flag that's not the American flag is pathetic. It is pathetic in so many ways that when I finish this call, you're going to be shocked. You're going to say, "Holy shit! Am I not only am I convinced that I should support the U.S. from my country, from any country on earth, really, but you will actually go your whole life being worried and scared that if you don't support the US, your life will get worse. And that's not a threat. That's not me threatening you, right? And that's not me talking out of like fanboy energy, like, oh, I'm born in US, so I'm a fan of the US. That's not me talking like a fan. I'm saying for every soul on earth, supporting the US is the strongest thing you can do for most things, right? And with the rare chance that everything's bursting into chaos, obviously, but when everything's going in a general direction, you will be shocked after this call that yeah, Zherka, it's taken him years to say it fully because it's kind of a headache. You should. I don't want to explain to people why, because if you don't intuitively know why you should support the U.S., even if the Americans are calling you a piece of shit, you should support them. And not on no cuck. I feel like a cuck. You're more of a cuck if you don't get the rewards of the American empire expanding. There is immense level of, if you want to protect your mother, if you want to protect your father, if you want to protect everyone you love, you want to leap into the future. You want the US to push you into the future because Saudi Arabia will never push you into the future. The only reason your life got easier with the internet is because of the American spirit. Your country did nothing for the world. Your country will never do anything for the world. Every country that's not the USA is harming the world. None of these countries would have ever brought the internet. None of these countries would ever keep you hyper connected to your relatives globally. None of that would happen. It wouldn't, if it was from China, it would look really different, bro. Extremely different. Like, so, oh, you're buddies with Haas and these communists. Bro, just because we're buddies doesn't mean I don't laugh at them. Like, when I'm around them, I say, hey, why don't you move to China? You know? If you love somewhere, why don't you move there? If you have the goal to talk about a country so high, you'll look really cool if the background is that country. Do you know that? You will look awesome if the background. If you're talking shit about America from a Chinese office in Beijing, for some reason everyone respects you because you're doing your thing. But if you're talking shit about the US as a Chinese guy from an office in New York, you look like the dumbest motherfucker in the universe. Like you look like you're afraid of the CCP. You look like you're terrified of them. That's what it looks. Oh, you're talking good about the CCP, but you wouldn't dare live there. And most of these guys are. It's not because they have kids here. Look at their fucking. Look at this age group that talks shit about the U.S. Are you fucking joking me? It's not because they have friends here. The average dude in New York has like one friend in the city. Like these guys. 80% of the youth, the Zoomers, aren't even going out drinking. Right? Forget the drinking part. They're not going out to any events, so they're just talking shit from their computer screen. And I'm like, dude, you don't know anything about the country you're in. You're talking shit because you chose a shitty job where you're poor. And you talking shit, I've never taken a channel seriously. Like even my buddy Jackson Hinkle, I'm like, bro, anytime he talks shit about the US, he looks like an idiot. Because Jackson Hinkle's it's like what's that? You're half a patriot, right? Like if you're gonna talk shit, when Jackson Hinkle's critiquing the US from Russia, when he spends time in Russia, it looks so cool. It looks like, yeah, it feels like a spy, right? Who knows? But it looks cool because it looks like, oh shit, this guy's waking up and eating breakfast over there. He's drinking his morning coffee over there. He's doing everything. It just looks awesome. If you critique US, like people are like, why don't you talk shit about Ryan Dawson for saying this about the US when you guys were on call? You just talked about other stuff, and we got into it for other things, a flat Earth a couple years ago, and I'm like, it's really hard for me to attack someone if they're in a different country. It's like if you're in Japan and you say "fuck the U.S." I don't like the U.S. It doesn't. I don't. What? How's that offensive? You don't live here. If you don't live in the fucking U.S., if you're not on this side of the globe, how's that offensive? That's like, yeah, you didn't like it, so you got packed up your shit and left. Yeah, you're making a strong case of why it's bad, actually. You just existing there is making a stronger case than anything that's coming out of your mouth because all of it is cope, right? And most of the time, when you see humans talk about something they hate, it is all cope, you know, unless it's an injustice, if you have a righteous indignation and if some injustice happens in the world, that's a lot different. But usually, if it's just like yappy, what is it, online beef behavior, it's cope. So if you're in Australia, you talk shit about the U.S. I don't. It's not. It doesn't do anything. It's like, all right, you're making a strong case, actually, bro. You're not convincing me, but the whole world should think like this, just so the rules are fair. Because if we don't have any logical rules to the game, then what are we going to start counting the stars on flags and say, oh, mine has more, and this blah blah blah, and each star is a spirit, by the way. Yeah. There's a lot here. But I'm starting this space off by reminding people that actions speak. All right, it's like when people say, "Zherka, you're a racist. You say America's the only real country on earth, and you're biased." Well, first of all, everyone is biased in their own way. Just delete that part. The arguments I make are objective, believe it or not. They're so objective that your family, your friends, your religious structures, everything around you is going to crumble when I start speaking about why you should support the white man, right? Even that argument of I'm black, I can't support him, Zherka, that's cucked. I see where you're coming from. It's just for long-term thinking, you're fucking yourself up more. You're becoming more of a slave if you don't support the white. I'll just say it like that. It's like imagine you without internet for the last 20 years. You'd be a monkey. You would have no information to your fingertips. You'd be a literal monkey, right? I'm not talking about just the black guy, Chinese, all of them, because they always love to say, "Oh, that's racist," right? Humans without the internet for the last 20 years, like you'd be like an Amish dude who has like strong karma, perfect peace, but they don't know what the fuck's going on ever, right? They don't know, oh, is it COVID? Is it what the hell's happening? Right? They don't have the internet. Unless they have a newspaper, I don't know what those niggas do. But yeah, it's like if you're living in these times and you're not using the technology to push your incarnation forward, you're not morally progressing in life with technology. Oh, that sounds tricky. Clean your feed, bro. It's not that hard. It's hard. It's not that hard, right? I mean, it's hard, but it's doable hard. Anything that's doable hard, it shouldn't be considered hard because like billions are progressing using the. You don't have to use the internet just to fucking downgrade and spiral. Like that's something that happens, and then you come back from it. So we'll start it off like that, right? And today we're gonna cover. This is gonna be quick because I have no hate in my heart for any of these guys. A lot of people are here convinced that I'm like all aboard the hate train. Oh, I started spaces. He's fiery. He's angry. I am not angry at all. All right. And both sides are going to get really angry. Right now, both sides of the war are going to get really angry with me because Zerka's going to give the individuation answer like he always does. That's why that's actually correct. Because I don't want any blackness in my heart like you guys. You guys suck with money. You guys suck with women. You suck with social life and being entertaining and network, every facet to make life, to access blessings, you guys suck at. And I'm only on earth to tell you how those blessings get unlocked. It's like, dude, this is free. I could easily do this on my website. I'm giving it for free. Okay? Which I got to stop doing that. But I see a lot of, first of all, I kind of instigated it. I said, what did I say? Hold on. I said, what did I say? A few days ago, I said the white wars began because it all started when there was a clip of Nick Fuentes, our boy Nick, right? Like our superstar. He's our Kobe of the right wing. He's Kobe. He does all the points, everything, all the trash talk, all the fucking, he's bucket machine. He's our Kobe on this side. And Nick started the week off by saying something that I never heard him say before, something that made my head spin because I was like, that's just fucking incredible that he said that. I didn't I noticed it, but not, I even commented about it like ahead of Nick, but I didn't really digest it. He digested it, so he put me into awareness for it. Because I even said, so people are going to be like, no, no, you said it too. Yeah, but I wasn't that conscious when I said it. I was like, he drilled it in me. When I heard it from his point of view, I was like, okay, we have something here. He said, ASU Mog leader guy fucking mogs the fuck out of clavicular. And everyone's talking about it. And Nick is following the whole thing where everyone on earth is following this. It's like Clav got brutally mogged to death, bro. What the fuck? And we're all like, who the fuck is this guy? He's got this new power level. He's got the mysterious shades on. He's beating this is the android saga. Is he an android? Is he a Saiyan? We don't know. Is he like Zherka and Tate and the Saiyans of the red pill? Or is he an android like Clav, made in Dr. Giroux's lab, which brought a huge red ribbon army power level to the game, right? And you see the Saiyan Tate with Clav, they're collaborating, so the androids and the Saiyans are working together, and this one makes no sense. It feels like fan fiction. And you got the fucking Australian, the highest power level that I've been saying he's the highest power level fucking chat on earth. No one wants to believe it. He has the most potential. If you put him in the chamber, in the hyperbolic time chamber, in the spirit of room and time, androgenic would come out as the highest power level. Everyone said, no, Zherka from Kami's Watchtower, you don't get to tell us who beats Clav. It's not who beats Clav, because Clav is on his fucking mission. Clive doesn't have time to get stronger. He has to do things in the world. He doesn't even have time to train with weights. He has to just run Anavar till he looks skinny and weak. He doesn't even he has to money max. He has to do so many other things. And he's the highest power level on earth. Don't ever take that away from Clive. Yeah, and I predicted it. I said, look at this. That's the whole market. Clive will be the FM king. And everyone's like, no, 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 no. This guy puts on makeup. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, I don't put on makeup, but I don't dare tell Napoleon not to put on makeup. Napoleon would conquer your ass. Napoleon and those guys. And do you understand that Donald Trump puts on makeup every day and you love him? So don't start with this. Well, makeup is where I draw the line just because Zherka doesn't put on makeup. So therefore, everything with makeup is gay. Zherka and you are Your Super Saiyan auras are stimulated by the Trump, right? Trump's incarnation is powerful to us, and you ignore the fact that Trump puts on makeup every day. And these guys who go on TV, you go on CNN, Fox News, they're gonna put makeup on you. That's just what it is. And everyone says, "I would just say no to the makeup," until you remember JFK versus Nixon. Nixon said, "No, I don't put on makeup. I don't do that." And which is, that Zherka answer. That sounds very up me and my audience. We have the same kind of temperament. We'd say, "No, I don't want to." We'd go with the Nixon argument, and he fucking lost the debate because he was sweating on camera, looking fucking retarded. And what can you do? Are you gonna change the climate control in the fucking Fox Tower? No. What are you gonna do when fucking the Murdochs are after you? You're done. You're cooked. And JFK wins. Just because JFK put his ego aside and said, "Man, just fucking dab me up with some of that fucking powder." And it's like nobody even knew he had makeup until like 100 years later. And really, it's more like, if that's the reason Nixon lost, Nixon's the biggest fucking, I'd love to go down and say no. But then you remember how much Chester maxing humans do for a joke, let alone winning the presidency. And it's like, is the joke Nixon or JFK? Because nobody even talks about Nixon. And he was one of the most based presidents ever, right? He was kind of awesome. But nobody even talks about him. They talk about JFK. And nobody says JFK is a fucking homo, and he's a Democrat. What? He's got that much aura as a Democrat, which back then Democrat was a lot more normal than today. Like, are you kidding me? Come on, use your head. Like back then, we'd all be freedom maxing, right? Anyways, so we'll start this off with, where did this white on white violence start? It started with the Mog War. ASU Mog the ASU Mog champion that mogged Clav to death. This is the note, right? Is this right? This is too tough. This was the most brutal mogging we've ever seen, but let's be real, this guy's been training. This guy's doing his push-ups, he's taking his shit, he's doing everything correct. And he started off from a very fat point, so we love to see the progression, right? But Clav wasn't doing his push-up. He's busy being Clav, right? So is it really, it's kind of like Phil Heath got mogged. Yeah, put Phil Heath on a cycle. Let's see who wins then. That's a more fair thing. But whatever, we have to give it to them because that's the rules of, you can't win all the battles. So it broke my heart, man. It broke my fucking spirit. I was like, no. When he got mogged, I was like, no, this is worse than the Holocaust. It made me shake in fear and anxiety, and I burst into like almost like my blood sugar was low, like sweats of nervousness. I was like, how the fuck is this happening to the android? And then the ASU leader took his sunglasses off and showed his power level. Not only is he in the shreds, wide as fuck, wide hardo in the chat, he has glowing blonde hair and deep, icy blue eyes like wet dream. And I said, wow, I've never seen a white man on the internet until right now. I cannot believe the internet, because usually when the internet makes a random white kid popular, the kid goes out of his way to like embarrass himself. And it's not like white hate. This is more like, those guys who are like, yeah, you can sit with my girlfriend, bro. And like those guys we don't even consider white. There's something else. They're like they're Dean Withers white, whatever that is. And we're like, what? He pulls out his cute inhaler. It's so cute when actually, this is the asthma pen. Oh god, that Dean arc was fucking awesome, man. Was that last year? That guy has to make a comeback right now. But yeah, we see a high ass power level, blonde hair, blue eyed in a Super Saiyan state. We're seeing a Super Saiyan. And he's not going viral for anything stupid or anything. He's just going viral for frame mogging the fuck out of Clap. It's like this is the new episode. And so everyone who's in the know, they go, oh, an Aryan. We always have to, we just like throughout all of history, we have to always give respect to Aryans. Even if they come from strange backgrounds, we know they can be redeemed every single time, right? Unless it's like some Swedish cucks, right? But I never talk about those guys. I don't give them attention. I'll never bring my audience to fucking follow, maybe PewDiePie. PewDiePie's cool, right? I don't see him as left or right. They like to make him a Nazi. I don't see that. He did say the N word. He's cool. He's cool, right? And he's not a cuck. PewDiePie's not a cuck. He's married. He's like a normal married life. So besides PewDiePie, a lot of Sweden has fallen, right? And make no mistake about that. A lot of people think I'm joking when I say this. I'm not those guys. As much as I love Italians and all that, I don't want the world to be run by Italians. I want them to be at the top, but I do want the Nordic people to always be number one. I want the Germans, the Swedes, and I want to get them normal first, not cucked, right? If we could do that. Like, don't ever forget that Donald Trump is a German incarnation. That's why Donald Trump has more aura than a Nick Fuentes. Even though Nick is a genius, he's at the top. He had dinner with him. But like Nick has it all. He's our Kobe Bryant, but that's Michael Jordan, bro. If only he could be a little fucking anti-Semitic for us, he'd have the whole fucking picture. But even Jordan was an asshole in person, right? That's what everyone said about him. So you can't have it all. And Nick's way more relatable. He's like, I don't know how Trump is not. Trump is like you look forward to aging and growing old, and you think of Trump, right? So he's a great force for young men archetypally. It's like, wow, that looks like a lot of fun. It looked like Trump had more fun in the later years than when he was young, actually. You know what I mean by that? So he's great. So like if you see Trump as a superficial oversoul for Zherka, for Nick Fuentes, for even Sneago when he was cool. Yeah, he was, right? He was the oversoul. We aligned to that, and the top dog, you can't go above him. You can say you mog Trump, but no one mogs Trump. What are you? That's not how this works. You're a fucking joke. No human can do that. That's why we align under the eagle that is Trump, right? And then Sneeko starts being all fucking, I don't like the worms here. I don't like the nest. I don't like. Then get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. So it's great. It's beautiful. America is flourishing. 2026 is the best it's ever been. And Nick says a comment that I said earlier, but for me, it didn't resonate. I just said it, just trolling on Twitter, and, I thought it was cool. But then when he said, I'm like, oh, it is a thing. I have not noticed that. Nick said, what I like about the ASU Mog Championship battles is it's androgenic, ASU Mogger and Clav. It's white guys. And that shit blew me away because I've said it before. I just didn't digest it. But when Nick said, I'm like, holy shit, that's why it's so awesome. How much fucking black creators are they going to force feed down our throats? And by force feed, I mean 90% of black streamers on Twitch that suck, that everyone agrees these guys suck. It's not a racial thing. I'm saying the ones you would agree that you don't watch, they only got popular because they're the channels that can say nigga. So the chats have more fun in those streams. That's the fucking truth, right? That is literally the truth. Ask, bro. I'm telling you, if white guys said nigga on Twitch, their channels would explode, right? But white guys have to find a different way to be funny on Twitch. It's like brutal to watch. Like, have you ever seen XUC trying to talk around the nigga word? And he can't do it. And it's just brutal. I feel bad. He's so cocked. Like XUC's so cocked on freedom of speech, right? So when Nick said ASU white guy, Clav, androgenic, it's a whole white fiesta, right? It sounds like I'm not calling him a Mexican. I'm saying it's a fiesta, like it's a party. Nick didn't say fiesta, by the way. I'm saying that. But yeah, when he said that, I said to myself, when we went from all the Chinese and Asian YouTuber saga, which was so cringe. It was so like, what the fuck was that? Then it was the Logan Paul era and stuff, which I never followed because it felt just like liberal. It felt way too liberal that I couldn't. I for 6 years I didn't even use YouTube. I just partied downtown. I was just hyper normie, or not a daytime normie. I was underworld normie. So I didn't relate to daytime people at all. That's why I have like an aversion to normies. Like just throwing frisbee at a party. I don't get those people at all. Maybe I envy that too. That I didn't get that part of my life, like the frisbee at the park, or maybe it's just thing to do frisbee, right? Or a little volleyball. And I guess I got to live those years with Mike, but yeah, we're seeing white on white crime, and it's like the whole internet is raging over it. And I'm like, all we have to do is support these white channels because they're not even trying, and they have better fucking clicks and better content than everyone else combined. And it's not because Kai and the black stream, like, Speed's the king of entertainment. No one can take that from Speed. But all the other black guys are really like corny, and just it just feels like their mom raised them to talk like that. It's just they force us to listen to their streamer rap songs. And yeah, I always, even when I meet these guys, I say, "Hey man, keep doing that music thing." But deep down in my heart, it hurts because I go, even if he pops off, even if his music's number one on the charts, I'll always cringe to it. Like if a streamer makes a song, it's heavily cringe. I love watching cringe with my audience, but there's levels of cringe where I don't ever mention it because I can't even click on that shit. And bro, ask anyone. I love making a room cringe. I love making content cringe. I love doing cringe on purpose. But when it's at a high ass power level, like there's a couple streamers that like I don't know much about DDG. I'm sure he's had like a couple good songs, a bit of success there. So I'm not talking about him. But I could see that. I could see that most of his playlist would be like make me cringe the fuck out. I could just see it in my head. So I avoid all that. I avoid it like the plague. I feel like I get enough slop. Listen, like Pooh Shiesty and all this. I don't need to add the streamers to the fucking tracks. Also, it feels cucked. Like if you listen to a streamer's music, you're listening to someone who has not mastered music. They mastered streaming. So why would you if you're going to listen to at least Drake, as gay as he is, has a mastery over it. Mastery will always benefit you. It's like watching a swordsman channel on YouTube. You're going to watch the random dude with a sword or the master. Are you fucking stupid? Right? You're trying to connect to the oversoul of that swordsman. You're trying to do something when you're learning, fencing or whatever. So yeah, when Nick said this ASU guy, Clav, all this is white content, I said, holy shit, yeah, because, where do you find white content? Really, it's offline. It's like with your white buddies. You have a couple beers, you go to the golf course, you do like white people shit, and it's fun, it's awesome, it's racist, it's hilarious. And it's never hateful for some reason. Like if you're in with a group of a bunch of white racist right winger guys, and the black right winger guy says, "Hey, can I come?" Everyone says, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, come, come, come." None of them say, "Don't come" to the black guy. It's never happened once. Not even at a Nick Fuentes rally. Never. It's never happened unless they betray us, and then we fucking light their shit up, right? But that's for betrayal. That's not for anything else, right? So and that hurts us too because people be like, "Oh, there's a black guy, there's a brown guy on your team, Zherka," and stuff like that. And I'm like, that makes us look crazy. Oh, it's a white identity movement, but there's other colors, and it's like we'll take looking crazy to be inclusive because we're fighting for something beyond us, beyond even whiteness, actually, right? Because whiteness is not a color thing. And Nick can't explain it because he doesn't really understand. Whiteness transcends Earth evolution, meaning it's third turn for the impulse. It's not like in ancient Indian times with all those big Indian temples when they were fucking, how did they build these? Right? When we're talking about 2026, ask yourself who brought you the internet? Who made your life that easy with the internet? Who? Ask yourself, who made it so you don't ever have to work hard in life? Money just floats into your pocket. If it's the white man, then being nationalistic for your country is actually, as cool as it makes you feel, it's bringing you technological advancements into your life slower. So all your problems you have don't go away for the next 10 years, right? So that's why even if America closed its borders and said it wants to be a white only nation, in 50 years, you guys would all be shocked at the level of internet we'd be at. When white people are left alone, do you think they go around? What do you think they do? You've been told by some leftist professors that they'll come conquer you, but they won't give a fuck about you, bro. They will build they'll build starships to take you into the green screen, my nigga. I don't actually believe it's a green screen, but you get the joke. And if you can sit down in an argument and look me in the eye and say, these 20 years of my life, I would have traded with no internet, Zherka, no dot-com boom. I would go back, do my life without the internet, just go for runs and be normal guy. And you'd probably have way less nervous disorders too doing that, right? You'd be like an Amish guy. But none of you would take it. If you saw the white man handing you the gate of the next 20 years of internet, you would take the gate every single time. Even if the white man said this is going to harm your country a bit, we're going to tax your country, your country is never going to be powerful. The U.S. is just going to keep their boot on every country on earth, and everyone has to play ball. You don't want to fuck with us unless you're primitive. If you're primitive enough to fuck with us, right, then you're going to get bombed to smithereens. And it's like it's not just a lose-lose situation. It's a win infinitely more when white people are building Atlantis back up. But distract the white man, and you think a Saudi, you think a Chinese guy, you think any of them are going to give you a system that improves your life? You think an African guy will give you a system that improves your life? Your mom has cancer. You think an African guy, a Chinese guy gives a fuck about your mom being sick? Are you, do you, religion is not a color thing. We're not even there yet, me boy. I'm telling you right now. You can play ball with Asians, you can play ball with Arabs, you can do all that. None of them have ever helped anyone globally. You look at any of these nations, they help themselves when they get into power. But you look at the spirit of an American, when he's in power, what does he do? Like, are you fucking kidding me? If you understood that in ancient times, it was ancient India at the top, yeah, look into it. The biggest temples, the biggest whatever. You look at everyone had their turn. Now that it's the European turns, the Germanic, American, 70% of American DNA is German. Everything for the free world America has done, you are spitting on by saying, actually, Hungary did, actually, Albania did. What are you talking about, man? You have to look at the fact. I am an Albanian telling you that American must lead. You should be a Chinese guy saying, I don't want the CCP. I want China to be liberated by the US. Or do you want to live under fuck it? What do they got? The surveillance state going on over there? They got drones to your window to see how many times a day you're taking a shit? That's what you're fighting for? Like, what are you talking about? I'm a progressive in the sense that I travel the world. I go to every country. I try every food. I've been everywhere. And I always leave with the biggest smile on my face. Like it's almost like I want to live there because I'm having so much fun in every country. Even butt fuck nowhere, I can find fun anywhere. I am the fun. But man, do I feel good when I go back under the American flag and I go, these countries are not developing. They're lying to themselves. You think Americans steal, the politicians in America steal, you should go to other countries and see their bridges, man. Right? Well, look at Chinese bridges. All it takes is for your freedom to be taken away from you. We get LEDs on our bridge in China, so long as we take your freedom, the freedom from the people, right? It's like we're anti-freedom impulse. And I hate when people argue, how are you? This is Haas. How are you free in the US? It's like, dude, if you ever have to argue that you feel terrified to walk around the streets of China because the government might fucking cloth you, put a cloth you. Come on, man. Well, US does that too. And dude, you got to do a bunch of shit before you can start being afraid in the US, bro. And the people who kill you in the US, it's Jews. It's always American Zionist Jews. It's not even Americans. So it's like, if you get, oh, CIA got me. CIA didn't get you. Mossad did, right? CIA will leave you the fuck alone. CIA is doing other things, right? Usually for petty stuff like the Charlie Kirk thing, right? Which everyone's going to start the fiery debate. Well, Nick doesn't think that Charlie Kirk is assassination has anything to do with Israel. Dude, that's his opinion. Like, are you a man? If you disagree with someone's opinion, say, I disagree. Like, how do you go online and say, like, if he's giving you his reasons and they're not flat, he's actually just putting in 8 to 10, 15 minutes in building up an argument. You can say you don't like Nick's argument. You can say that, but you can't say he avoided the topic or anything. That's his opinion. My opinion's different. Yours is going to be different. It's like Christology. When Catholic channels attack Nick, a lot of them do at the same time. Why don't we support those Catholic channels? Because their Christology is different from Nick's. Nick says, don't be a cuck. They say, your wife has to run the show and I'm just a little good little bitch. So every human's Christology is different. That's why every human has different levels of consciousness. Even if you get a Malcolm X supporter next to Malcolm X, they're going to sound a little different. If they speak more, they might sound medium or even a lot different, even if they're working right under Malcolm X. That's why Zherka's Christology will sound different from Nick's, even though they're going the same way. Right? That's why the Catholic Nick versus the Catholic channel that says Nick is demonic. That's why they argue. That's why humans always they're filled with, well, no, we're not exactly the same. We're not supposed to be exactly the same, right? Unless we're talking about on the level of freedom, the impulse of freedom, which only America is bringing. And a lot of people are like, well, you went to America for a week and you popped the fuck off and now you're retired for life. So that's why you're saying that. Okay, then why on my fucking Twitch channel before I even mega popped off, why was I saying the same shit before I popped off? Even day one with 0 followers, I was saying the same shit. Now that could be a dangerous position where it's like, well, you just kind of nailed it on your head. No, there's a consistent theme here. Like, we all agree we don't want to live in China or Saudi Arabia, but as soon as we're in America, you got that free speech thing, you just talk shit about America all day. Like, Sneeko is snaking the city that made him, New York. Like, what do you that's where his content started. We only know Sneeko from the New York content, and he's snaking with this mundani energy. Nobody does it. Nobody says a thing. It's mind-blowing. So it is Tuesday, February 24th, and we're going to get into the broadcast. Okay, beautiful day, big, beautiful Brazil. And before I get it very political, I do every fucking stream I have to remind you guys, because I see you guys very once in a blue for these. I'm not that consistent with these, but you got to see the world, man. And it'll make you love America more, even if you're having fun. You'll always miss it, but you won't always miss the world. You'll only have fun on vacations, and then you'll go back to, getting shit done. So I do want you guys to be progressive globalists in Travel Max, but I don't want you guys to actually adopt any of their positions. If you go to Italy, Germany, France, and you adopt their political positions, you are a liberal blue pill. And by the way, that's not cool, right? You can be in the middle like Clav, and that's totally fine. We won't attack you politically. But if you're blue pill and you're doing it because, like Marlon went from like talking shit and making racist jokes and banging year old girls, he was making all the pedo jokes, watching my content. You guys send me those clips, and now he's like, I'm reformed because I'm blue pill and I'm going for the money. And it's like, all right, do your thing, but we don't have to respect that. You're not going to force us to respect that. So it's like, Blue pill is where we draw the line. And who's the most blue pill on the internet? What we avoided this for like a long time, but it is Sneeko, dude. Like, you know how many emails I get saying, Zherka, everything about you is consistent except the fact that you hang out with Sneeko. I'm like, I hung out with him when he was red pill. Okay, like just look at the track record. As soon as he goes to Mandani, I said this, right? It's like perfect timing. It's what do you? I am fully consistent, and you got to remember when Sneeko was red pill, we felt it. It didn't feel fake. Like you could call it fake later, but in the time, it's like he convinces himself. He actually believes it, right? And I remember even having a call with Sneeko, and I said, "Hey, man, whatever gets your channel back, even if you have to leave the red pill." Because I was thinking he was going to commit suicide. He was like in a bad place. I always go to the worst in my head, and I don't think I would have said it for Nick, but for Sneeko, I would have been like, maybe this guy would jump. Just get his YouTube channel back. You know, don't even talk shit about Sneeko. Let him get his YouTube channel back. Just let him get his YouTube channel back. Give him some emotional support because he loves that channel. It's not like me. He really loves his channel. His whole life went into that channel. If you lose that life, you're going to take your own life. You always think of the worst thing. So I'm like, hey man, it's not a big deal. Avoid all the red pill content. Avoid all the evil shit. Just make art. And he's like, okay, I'm going to do that. And he starts making art. He gets unbanned, right? And it's a beautiful thing. And then I'm like, wow, this is his chance to shine. He's going to stay in the middle, just like the strongest incarnations. He's too old to be one-sided in his thinking. He's too old to be. He should be more in the middle, right? He should be more fair. But man, the next 6 months of his content was just straight up leftist slop over slop. It was the most blue pill. I had people in my real life say, "Is that the same guy?" And I'm like, okay, he got his channel back, but why is he going way more blue now that he got the channel back? Is it because he's appeasing the overlords? No, not really. You can calm down after a couple of months. Oh, they're not going to ban me. You can calm down. And then you start to see his inner nature is not there. He's just surrounded by green flag and blue pill people. It's just like Muslims around him. And it's like, oh, Sneeko is like chameleon. He's absorbing that. It's not Sneeko we hate, it's the people around him. Ooh, shit, they're always going to be there, because he only feels safe around them, right? He feels naked with any other oversoul. He needs that green flag over his head. And I'm like, that's fine as long as he becomes like Malcolm X, which he went the other way. I was like, he's going the other. Malcolm X was not a slave to Arabs. He's Black Power. He was the cool kind of left, or whatever you consider that nowadays, right? He's more of a black nationalist or whatever. So I thought he was going that direction, and then he just gets worse and worse, and the clips get worse. And it starts from slow critiquing to like, this guy is so lost that I could see him join ISIS. If one more girl breaks Sneeko's heart, he's gonna join ISIS. He's gonna be one of those gingers. Those gingers who join ISIS. Sneeko is spiritually ginger. No, we love ginger people. Close your eyes and imagine a ginger person ever snaking you in your life. Guy, girl, it's very rare actually. It's like they know they have no soul, so they act normal. They're like, hey, can I be friends with you? I have no soul. I want to hide my evil power level from the world. Anyways, and it's about food and happiness, man. But first comes peace, and you can't have peace without war. That's the truth. You can't have peace without war, man. And I'm the guy who says you have to be in war even if you don't want to be in war. Okay? And when you're not at war, what do you start doing? You start attacking yourself. That's why everyone who's not at war they're in their room depressed as fuck. And I'm fucking losing it. Bro, this place has cops, man. This place is dirty. All right, let's get into it. So I'm super pumped that Nick started off this week. He says ASU, all this Mog drama, all these Mog battles, these Mog wars. This is, I like that it's white people doing it. I'm like, yo, that is so cool. That is, Speed, the black guys, Kai, they have their thing. Like, we don't want that to disappear. The internet would actually be a lot more boring without Speed. An occasional Speed clip is the cherry on top. It makes the feed better. And it's so weird because everyone just shits on Speed in the comments. Like everyone's racist. Everyone, I'm like, if there's one person, the whole world should be like, oh, he's doing his job. That's Speed. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Kai is a different story, right? Kai can be he can be bought. But yeah, when Nick said that, I was like, okay, that's cool, you know? And I see the Albanian flag on the ASU Mauger. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, you know? And that doesn't shock me. Like, everyone's like, are you shocked by that? I'm like, not really, because I've been around Albanians my whole life growing up, and most of them are blonde hair, blue eyes, not in back home. I'm saying around me. My dad has green eyes. You just look at the photos I post. My older brother has green eyes, like beaming green. And that's why when I watch Nick, he has green eyes. It feels like, you know, I'm like growing up in my family, it felt normal to watch Nick. Also, when he gets like angry, it's like identical to us, right? When we get angry, although my whole family would say I'm the only black sheep. Nick's also the black sheep, so guys were like all the way to the right. So yeah, Nick was like it was personal when I was watching Nick, and he was battling my worst enemy, Hassan Piker, at the time when I was banned first before Nick. So to me, Nick is like within my mountain. We're attacking the same shit. And then Nick makes a clip against Albanian people. For the first time in his life, he says something about, hey man, no one in the Balkans, no Croatians, no Albanians, no, none of these guys get to tell us how to run America. And I was like, what? Nick's power level is so fucking high right now. Someone has to respond. And all the Albanians tag me and they're like, Zherka, now's your chance. Nick betrayed us. And I'm like, wait, hold your fire. This man isn't black. What the fuck? They're right. He has green. Nick has green eyes. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Everyone calmed down. And they're like, but he betrayed the Albanians, Zherka. And I'm like, hold on. Wait a minute. Do you really think, as an Albanian, you get to tell an American how to run his country? What the fuck? Zherka, how could you? You broke my heart. Bro, I should put my dad on one of these calls, man. Because my dad for years would be like, dude, you've been saying the same thing for 10 years. Let the Germans run America. Let Trump, the German, run America. If it's not Trump, our second in charge is Nick Fuentes. And you know, he's been getting blurry. He's off the lean. He's doing other shit. We need Nick right now. He's further right than Trump. And by further right, I mean Nick Fuentes does not want America to become a Muslim country. He doesn't want immigration to turn the fucking streets of every international city into a bloodbath. That is the hero of the story. You should be supporting him because if you live in LA and your skin is brown, you're going to enter a race war without Nick. It's everything you've been told. Oh, Nick is going to start the race war. It's the other way around. They're going to import a bunch of immigrants and everyone's going to lose their mind and everyone's gonna be like, yo, we can't coexist. Look at even in the Balkans how much they kill each other because they can't coexist, right? Now think of America being like that with all the guns in America. You're in danger if you don't support Nick. In 10 years, you are in danger. It's the other way around. But that means more racism is making the world more safe. You know, in a strange way, anything that stops mass immigration into America is making an American more safe. That's the truth. That's the truth. And remember, if US, explodes into chaos, the whole world immediately follows. So it's not like you're just safe because you're in a different country. So that's like another big reason why you should calm the fuck down. Your life's gonna be better if you listen to me. And people are like, well, what the fuck, bro? But Nick said they're not really white. And listen, man, Nick is a Mexican. Mexicans love Dragon Ball. 50% of the crime rate in the US excuse me, in Mexico, 50% of the crime rate in Mexico goes down when there's a new Dragon Ball episode, new Dragon Ball Super episode, even Z back in the day. The 50% of the crime, look at the studies, I'm not making shit up. 50% of the crime goes down because the whole of Mexico is watching Dragon Ball with the cartel. Look at, you think this is like, oh, he's being funny. Google what I'm saying right now. Google it. You're going to see no country on earth likes Dragon Ball more than Mexico. And they even make arguments that they love it more than Japan. And Japanese get angry, they get racist with that. And who really knows? But there's more data. There's more data. Or people say, well, US spends the most money on Dragon Ball merch and intellectual property and all that. So US is number one. You can make a money argument, but I'm talking about saving souls, saving lives. Mexicans stop killing each other when a new fucking Jiren and Goku are fighting in between the stars. With Frieza's talking. They're making a new Dragon Ball series. You're telling me that the country Mexico that loves Dragon Ball the most, we're gonna hate their people because the Mexicans said that Albanians are not white? You fucking joking me? Are you fucking? We will never turn on Mexico. And personally speaking, anecdotally speaking, be honest. Let's everyone just be honest. When has a Mexican even done anything to you? You know? When has a Mexican even done anything to you, like piss you off or anything? Never once in your life. Like, what do you? We're talking about blacks, bro. You know, blacks can do shit to you. Like they're not. A lot of them are unconscious. You know, it sounds racist until you get a black guy to walk down the streets of Chicago, and you're like, whoa, what the fuck? What the fuck? These guys with the dreads are very unconscious compared to me, and black guys will notice black guys who are more conscious, more aware, and they want to take them down. Have you ever noticed that phenomenon? It happens with all the races too. Like even Albanians will say that about each other. Spaniards will say that about each other. Every race says that about each other. But really look into the blacks, bro. Right? If you're around a deeply unconscious Albanian, all you have to do is not disrespect them, and they won't blast you with a gun. They won't murder you in front of your kids. And you know, this is not, a lot of Albanians are like, why would you say that? That makes us look bad. I'm just saying to keep people alive on earth. You know, like that's why I said, Sneeko, don't disrespect those. There are some people who can turn off their level of consciousness, and Albanians seem to have that superpower where they can say, you know what, I'm gonna go unconscious for 10 minutes and just shoot this guy up in front of his whole family because he disrespected me on the road. Like Albanians have that switch. Like that Trenbolone switch. So I'm saying that to save lives. But most Albanians are nice guys, let's be real. And they have that switch. You know, you never know what you got. It's like a raffle. But black guys don't have the switch. They're just holding on to the switch, if you know what I mean. Like bro, a black guy with dreadlocks is nothing like an Albanian. There's this level of unconscious is all day. When they're coming into consciousness, they drink lean and do drugs to go down levels so to stay within the sin. I'm not talking about all black guys. I'm saying the ones you know that are gonna kill and murder you, stab you in the back, in the heart. So that's the ones I'm talking about, right? And do I think Nick is a white guy? Of course I do. Right? He has green eyes, brown hair, white skin. He has that Italian kind of look. And a lot of people say, "Oh, this is too swarthy. He looks kind of Italian to me. He doesn't look like a Mexican to me. I'm not going to call him a Mexican if he doesn't look like at all anything like a Mexican. Like, what are you talking? His experience on Earth was a white experience, wouldn't you? I guess that's not enough because the ASU Mauger, by Hitler's terms, yeah, that's a tough one because the ASU Marger is 100% white DNA. But Nick is more base than him. So how the fuck how are we gonna weigh this? Like, and remember, Nick is at higher levels of consciousness and intelligence too, right? Not just because he's older, but Nick, as much as people hate to admit it, he is a genius. right? And a genius is someone who has mastery. Even people who have mastery don't have mastery. I'm talking about Nick's mastery allowed him to sit with Kanye and Trump at a table and push Nick's own agenda to them. That's that's a powerful ass incarnation. You could call him short. You could call him, well, he's not a ladies guy. Dude, he is. What is a ladies guy even anyway? Like, what are you talking? That's Trump, and yay, he's at the top of the top, and he's not talking about what they want to talk about. He's talking about what he wants to talk about. Like, that's the full earthly experience. A human can die after that, and it's like you kind of that's a Kobe experience. He's dunking on you. That's awesome, and no one talks about like where he started off from, the cozy TV, even before that, the D Live. So is the ASU Mauger on Nick's level intellectually? No, right? So that has to lose Mog points there, but these guys are looks maxers. They only go by looks, and by looks, this guy has Nick beat because Nick will not take the peptides and all the extra stuff. He's against all that. And then the Mauger says, I don't care, I ascend. He turns into a Super Saiyan. And Nick, who has green eyes, for the first time in a clip, I see him, not first time, maybe second time, but for the second time, I see Nick a little rattled. I can't remember the last time he was rattled, but it bothered me. I'm like, you shouldn't be rattled about this, right? This shouldn't be, his power level's high. He's a Super Saiyan 1. This can be beat. And I'm like, Nick, you have green eyes. If you have green eyes, how are you getting insecure that someone has blue eyes? Technically, on the charts, I wouldn't call Nick, second in command because he has green eyes. Green eyes is even more rare. It's maybe not standard, but I would group them in the same category. Like growing up, I remember as a baby, I would look into my father's green eyes. I would look into my older brother's green eyes, and these were the archetypal energies I wanted to be like. These are the oldest guys in my life, or the ones I cared about. So I could feel their level of morality, and it was just so much stronger than everyone else's. It's not always the case, but usually most of the time it's the case. Maybe there could be freak, oh, what about this murderer who killed a bunch of people? He had blue eyes. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying most of the time, right? Just like let's go off the real world. And there's such a freedom impulse with these lighter colored eyed people. They're more spiritually bound to earth, but they're not spiritual people. Like, my dad's very atheist. He doesn't, he's more focused into the mission, the politics. Same with Nick. Nick is not a spiritual guy. He's more into the politics, but you can't say Nick is not spiritually charged. So I see these guys and I'm like, there's no way Nick feels rattled because a blue-eyed, blonde-haired Super Saiyan Aryan enters the map. And then I see, oh, Nick has changed his mind about the ASU guy. He's not happy about the white race advancing on social media anymore because he has an Albanian flag, which immediately strikes fear. Remember, throughout history, Albanians are Catholic. And then horrible things happen to them, just like the rest of the world, right? Or imagine even worse as China went full atheist. And so Nick played a strategic position where he said, wait a minute, the chances of this Albanian being a Muslim, they're high. That's not like a real Muslim. It's like an Albanian Muslim. That's like an Indonesian Muslim. They're not even that hardcore. They're just such chill people. No, I'm not taking that chance. You are not white. You are not white. And it was genius how Nick played that card. He's like, you are not white. And then he got a little insecure. You see Nick rattled in the clip. He goes, if you weren't white, skinned with blue eyes and blonde hair, you'd be black like Nico. I was like, what the fuck? First of all, that's hilarious. Because you could tell Nick doesn't mean it. He's just rattled. The power level is like, oh, it's we don't see a white guy on the internet that often, right? We see a lot of darker complexion white guys, or maybe like a swarthy look. I don't know if swarthy is a bad word. I don't even know what this word means, to be honest. But I'm saying not that non-Nordic look, that more whatever. We see that, but there's very few PewDiePies and stuff like that we could look up to. So in the past, there was a lot, but they're suppressed now. They try and cuck those guys first now. They try and make them cucks. And so Nick is like, it's tongue in cheek. He's joking around, right? Because Nick knows on paper, on Hitlerian paper, he lost to the ASU guy because of that 25%. What is it? 25% Mexican DNA, which I don't even know why. Like Nick has balls for saying it out loud, but if his experience, like you look at Nick, it's not a Mexican guy. Why would you? Why are we even focusing on that 25%? That shouldn't be a factor. Like, come on. But if we're gonna be perfect on paper, like, yeah, the Albanian guy will be more white than Nick, but it's an Albanian white, right? There's levels to whiteness. Like the highest level whiteness is Germanic, which is even higher than I love the Italians because, bro, before Italy was this cucked liberal shit, Italy was the world, right? Before, if you used to go to Italy and you'd be like, wow, they're so far advanced. Now it feels like more cucky, more communist. They're smoking their cigarettes. They're chilling the fuck out. And you're like, where's the energy on earth? And it's that Germanic American energy with a bit of that Catholic Italian vibe in the New York. New York was so beautiful back then, the mafia days. It's like, what happened to that? And then people are like, first of all, mafia is gay. But I'm saying that those times when New York was white, the only energy you'd get, that New York energy, is, believe it or not, from a Chicago kid named Nick. Like if you watch Nick, he sounds like a New Yorker. He's from the good old days. That's why everyone watches him. It's like an American that's Catholic is always the highest power level in the U.S. You could say, well, it's a Protestant nation, so it's always, Zherka, Protestants love you to death, and Zherka, you even sound more Protestant a lot of the times because you're more of a freedom guy. It's like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but if Americans don't evolve into Catholics, dude, that is the next step. Believe it or not, if they don't do that, then you're gonna be you're gonna rely on what, the ortho bros, like they're the lowest levels of powers on earth from all Christians is these Orthodox or these Protestants, or there's like one base Protestant left in each state, and we got to focus on them. It's like, no, bro, right? But you look into the Catholic tribe, and not only is it fucking massive, but there's room to evolve there. Which with the other ones is like, what the highest level of ortho, bro, is Jay Dyer. And I like his Christology. I like his channel. I have nothing against Dyer, but it's also like, is that where we're peaking at? You're good at debates, and is that it? You know? And then you look at someone like Nick, he could topple America. The Catholic power level is so much fucking higher. But is Nick more white than the ASU guy on paper? No, he's not. What the fuck? He's not. It's green eyes versus blue eyes, but it's blonde hair. It's Hitlerian, dude. And Hitler loved Albanians, man. Read the manifestos. And I always wondered this growing up. I'm like, do Albanians just have strong karma? Because they're the only ones in the Balkans that have celebrities and good-looking people. And like, I look at my family and I'm a million times better looking than you guys. All of you listening. So how the fuck is my distant uncles are better looking than you? My grandfather, like we are the highest level of symmetry, beauty, proportions, comedy, all that. Like and then I look at your guys' family pictures, the guys on Twitter, the guys I'm talking about. It's like cute family, but I don't know if all five of your family members are Hollywood looking. I don't know if they're. I don't know. I just don't get that energy from you guys. Like none. There's not one person I follow on Twitter where it's like, you look at your moms, look at your dads. It's like they're cute. They're cute. They're on our side. They're right wing, I'm sure, and all that. But it's just, come on, bro. It's like your bloodline's doing something wrong if it's coming out medium looks, or maybe just, well, I get this a lot. I'm the best looking in my family, bro. And it's like, no, unless 10 of your family members are good looking, you have a bad bloodline. What do you mean one? Everyone has one person in the family that can fucking represent. Like, you need 10 in a row, immediate, not distant family, immediate. You got to show the blood, and they all have to be over 6'3" minimum. What the fuck is this? Everything in the Mogging Olympics is there except the height. Nobody cares about height. They're like, we're going for width. No, you niggas gotta grow. If Clav sees you, he's gonna put those fucking shoe boosters on you. And look, that's aura when you're in public, but imagine if we saw you put those things on, your little high heels. Like everyone would be like, what the fuck? And yeah, people are like, should I fraud it if I get the girl? It's like, that would benefit you. In the long term, frauding it might make you feel like weak. But in the short term, I'm all about winning over the girl because very few souls ever do that. They actually, most people listening go their whole lives never getting the girl they actually wanted. And so I'm like, if you have to cheat to get her, this is a Zherka channel. Like, do you really think you think I'm gonna give you like the good advice? Like, no, you have to win. If you have to use peptides, whatever you have to use to get her, you have to do that just so you can experience that feeling of I'm better than her. I got her. I'm bored of it. You have to go there. You can't sit there wondering your whole life. You can't, like Nick had this clip a long time ago where he said, imagine being a good looking TikTok person. The whole world is eating from the palm of your hands. That's just might be the best way to live life on earth, like the easiest incarnation. I'm like, dude, you can't just say that out loud. You have to be it. Nick is at least being it when he's a famous guy. Women DM him. You guys have to do that too in your own ways. You have to have some kind of superstar energy into the world of individuation. You have to be an individual, right? And you have to experience that the whole world fucking with you energy. You can't just watch your leader and then you do nothing about it. That's why people are like, why is Nick the highest level white pill on earth? He's not black pill. It's because he's telling you individuate or die in a video game. Nick Clive is, he's really he's walking with spirit there. Extreme measures, yeah. But is Nick Fuentes more white than ASU Malger guy? Someone send me the name. I heard the name 3 times, but if I say it wrong, it's like I'm butchering it, and I will never butcher an Albanian's name, bro. Are you kidding me? First of all, did I grow up around a lot of blonde? Dude, there are Victoria's Secret models with blonde hair and blue eyes that look like some of I call them cousins, but I'm not related to them, but they're in my life. They're Albanian women, and it's shocking how Albanians come out in a lot of flavors, right? And there's a lot of fame, just search up famous Albanians, you'd be like, whoa, they all kind of look different, but you can see the energy. Like they all have this I'm better than you energy. Like you could, and it's kind of annoying too. Like the Dua Lipa, she got that cocky energy about her. It's just like I'm not a fan of her. I was forced to go to one of the concerts by my family, but I just remember thinking, I'm like, she's not my type. But Jackson Hinkle would always nudge me and be like, she's the hottest girl on earth, man. She's the hottest white girl on earth. I'm like, Jackson, you're white. She's not white. She's Albanian. And he'd be like, what? She's Albanian? Well, I mean, she looks like a white girl. So I'm like, yeah, you know what? There are levels to whiteness. There's regular white, then there's higher level white, right? A higher level white is there's dark white, there's higher level white where it's dark white, but they don't steal or kill. And then there's Nordic. Nordic is like top tier. And everyone's like, dude, you smash so many Nordic bitches and blonde hair and blue-eyed women, and you smash, why don't you get married and have kids with them? And it's like, dude, an incarnation like mine will never have kids. Get over it, bro. That's your job. Your job is to, first of all, you have to pair the blonde hair, blue eyed people and make them have kids before they go extinct. That is the earth's job because they have spiritual gifts for the world. That's why a lot of blue eyed people brought huge blessings to the world. Like, look at the top inventors in the world. You'll be shocked, right? And some people are like, well, that's because there's more people on earth that are that. Shut the fuck up, bro. Shut the fuck up with the cope, right? But is Nick on paper more white than ASU Malger? If he even went to ASU. I don't even know if he did. Well, Nick played the ultimate trap card on him, right? As Nick was kind of conceding, Nick will never concede, but you can see his energy level. He'll just start joking around. He'll just be like, "Oh, I don't know well, if you weren't white skin and blonde hair and blue eyed, you'd be looking black." And I'm like, "Ooh." First of all, you can't say that because then all the blonde hair, blue eyed guys in chat that are from that region are going to be like, I don't know if I trust Nick. And no, you're supposed to trust Nick. Even if he's pissing you off, you're supposed to be on his team, right? Trust me, he'll take us to the promised land, right? Even if he gets some things wrong, he will, He's doing the macro job, right? He might miss the micronutrients, but he's hitting the macros, right? And it's like, I'm not gonna lie. When I sat next to Nick, I did feel like a white guy, and I did feel like he had like that. I wanted to give him a sombrero. I felt like he's Mexican and give him the cha-chas and all that. I felt this Mexican. You know how Mexicans are just super polite. When he was sitting next to me, I was just like, "Oh, this guy's like a little Mexican." That's a joke. When I was sitting next to Nick on Fresh and Fit, I turned to him to look at him just to see, because I'm not gonna lie, there's something racist about me that when the whole chat's spamming, you're 25% Mexican, right? I'm not racist, but I did look at Nick to see closely. It's like, is there anything Mexican that'll pop up? And I scanned, and it was mean. It was a little evil, but you got to do that. You got to, even if you trust the guy, you got to do that, right? Just to see, you don't want him to start talking to you about enchiladas and shit. I looked at him and I'm like, no, I don't see any Mexican, and that's not comedy. That's like, I'm telling you what it is. None of you sitting with Nick would get any Mexican vibes from him. 0%. Is it funny that he's leading the movement and he's got 25%? No, it's not even funny. It would be funny if he looked like a bit of a Mexican. That would be fucking hilarious and hypocritical. And people are like, no, it's what you see on paper. And it's like, no, it's actually the person bringing the results. Even if it's Myron, it's someone bringing the results, right? Myron's not a white guy, but he's helping us, right? It's about help. It's about entering a new world. Because let me tell you this, man, your world about immigrants and black guys is throwing snowballs into police officers' faces. It's getting really dark, bro. And these guys who say, "Oh, what about the food? What about the food that immigrants bring?" It's like, what did Nick? Excuse me, Richard said this. Richard Spencer once said, "We have the recipes. We don't even want their food. We eat hamburgers. We eat cheeseburgers. We don't eat fucking dumplings and shit." All right. And by the way, Slavic people are not white, because the whole of it. And let me go in on this, because I'm not calling you not white by DNA. That's like how, when Nick Fuentes says Slavic people are not white, you can see Nick coping there. You can see him being insecure about answering that, and he has to lie. So the one time he has to, but I know why he's doing it. I get it, you know. And and I'm not pro-Slavic. I'm an Albanian, first of all, so I'm not going that way in this at all. But I'll tell you this, because I don't think Nick can explain it well here, because he's like, he doesn't even want to have the conversation. But when Nick says Slavic people are not white, he's actually correct, because the whole of internet culture, and I'm not saying this just because I don't like Slav. I'll get to that after, right? I'm trying to be objective here, right? Because like I meet a Russian guy, and I've had a lot of Russian friends. We get along, we have the same jokes, same interest things. We go for the same bitches, all that shit, right? So I'm not just trying to shit on Russians, right? Just because I'm an Albanian. I've met everyone on earth. But check this out now. All of internet culture, and that's what this is. If you're raised on 4chan, you're raised into the internet culture, you're raised by internet culture, then you're raised by Hitler. That's the truth. And if you're raised by Hitler, which is the whole internet, right, especially this side's the most cooked on that, right? And we even lost jobs with that. If you're raised with the Hitler energy, then you know for a fact Slavic people are not white. And even if it wasn't Hitler, everything that happened after Hitler with the Cold War stuff, they're not building the utopia. The Americans are building the utopia. Okay? And if we look at Christology through a Steinerian lens, Russians are going to be pieces of shit for another 350 years before they fully digest, download the Christ impulse. They have another 350 years of being fucking garbage, just like everyone else on earth. For the next 350 years, it will be the Americans pushing the Christ impulse. I'm not saying that to you just because I'm a Albanian guy and Albanian people are very pro-America. I'm not saying that. I'm saying objectively, to save your soul, you don't want to incarnate on earth and not support the freedom impulse, the Christ impulse. That is a dangerous way to live life. And I've avoided this topic for over 7 years because I don't want to explain it. I don't want to confuse people. I don't want none of that. I don't want you guys coming around trying to stab me. I can't. What am I going to fight all of you? Like, it's going to be a million of you. What I'm telling you right now, you want Americans to push technology and peptides and everything new into the world. You want them to solve all the illnesses and everything, right? For every evil guy up there, there's some good guy that comes out and invents something. And he's always some Aryan ass nigga. And even some Italian guys, some guys who, you look at Italy, just Google how many Albanians are in Italy since the days of Rome. And let me tell you about something about those guys is whether they're Italians from Italy or Albanians in Italy, neither of them go to work. Like that's the truth about Europeans that yes, we have the best DNA. It's our turn. It's finally our turn. You could say, like Nick loves to talk about, it's always been our turn throughout history. And it's like, dude, if you look at even longer into the history, if you look into through clairvoyant investigation, even before pre-recorded history that you don't know about, other cultures have had terms, but recorded history, when clairvoyance was vanishing and intellectualism started rising, yes, it feels like it's just the white impulse. This is a long. It feels like it's just all of history, but it's actually a lot more fair than that. Which that stings too, because I don't want to give it to the other colors. Let's be real, and no one does. We don't even if we fucking came into consciousness about that, we'd be like, nah, we're gonna stick to regular. Not that history is fake. I'm saying before recorded history, you'd see other colored people dominating like the white man is for all of recorded history. Okay, and the timeline is a lot longer than you think. And then don't get me started on Atlantis and all of that. You're not ready for that. So all aboard, we have to pick now ASU Mauger versus Nick Fuentes, who we've been with Nick consistently for how long? Like it's almost a decade. But Nick said Albanians are not white. And that broke my fucking. I didn't feel anything, to be honest. In my head, I'm like, you can have any opinion you want. But the second you say a blonde hair, blue eyed person is not white, my nigga, you make the right wing look stupid right now. Like, first of all, the left is eating this up, laughing at all of us. And I'm like, just say they're lower totem pole whites. You can do that. I like the totem idea a lot, by the way. You know, it's like a lot of people think I'm Albanian, so I want Albanians in America and running New York. And not really. Like what? That benefits me. I like dab them up on the street. That's fun for me, but it's not good for America. For America, it should be Germans. And then they build new internet systems that make our lives easier. So the whole world goes to the internet age in a new way. That's what you want. You don't want China to give you the internet. You don't want none of these other guys to give you the shit. You don't want no camel fucker telling you how to live your life. You want the freedom impulse doing it. Um, do I feel more white than Nick Fuentes because he's 25% Mexican? No. I don't. I feel Nick is at a level of whiteness, just appearance wise, and the things that he does, his actions, his thinking, feeling, and willing on earth. You could just measure all that. He looks like he looks like my dad with the green eyes. He looks like my older brother with the green eyes. They are moral to their core. They inspire me to be higher levels of I want to reach towards the stars. They don't get there's zero distractions in these kinds of men. These are the best kinds. Do I see Nick as a zero distraction, no nonsense nigga? Yeah, I do. But is it puzzling to me that I have more white DNA than Nick? I mean, does it matter? I got the dark complexion white guy. It's like a dark Charizard. I got the a lower totem pole incarnation, but as a dark Pokemon. And Nick is 5'8". I am 6'5". I don't think I should be complaining here, but I get all the bitches, and that ruins my incarnation. That makes me more black. That makes me a. Only niggas talk about bitches. It's about sitting down having dinner with Donald Trump and Kanye. So And really, when I sit down next to Nick, I've never felt he's anything else besides white. And I think he's for the white agenda. I think strategically it's stupid if he let's say if Nick said, no, you Bosnians with blue eyes and blonde hair and white skin, you Albanians with blue eyes, blonde hair, and white skin. Come on. If he tried to convert them, do you know how fast white DNA converts to Catholic? It's like overnight, and none of their parents get angry. You know, if a Bosnian converts to a Christian, his own family says, okay, whatever. It's nothing like Arabs. If you have atheist Albanian parents, you convert to you walk towards the cross. Nobody gives a fuck. It's, Arabs will kill you for that. So I'm like, did Nick miss out huge not bringing them over here? But he thinks of it from like a political point of view where it's like, nah, they're never gonna convert. Fuck these guys. And if that's true, let's say Nick is 100% true on that. Hey, we gotta drop Exodia right now. And Nick drops it. He says, if you are white but claim to be a Muslim, you drop your white card for eternity. You are no longer white. As much as I love the Aryan and social media dominating, and I don't want to see them stop dominating, but rules is rules, bro. You're not white. And I'm telling you right now, I only say that to you because you're never going to be a Bosnian Muslim guy. You're going to be a Bosnian guy getting forced to do things by Arabs. You're never going to be a Muslim Albanian guy. You're going to be an Albanian guy who's being bullied by Arabs. You're gonna start seeing your circle get very Arabic, and you're gonna be like, oh, I feel like I'm being bullied right now. You're gonna feel like a cuck because your DNA, your blood is tied to Skenderbeg. It's tied. The only symbol you have on your Wikipedia of being the oldest tribe in Europe, said by white Aryans. Aryans said that. They said, yeah, they're the oldest. Well, they're not. I don't give a fuck about Albanians, but at least they're the old. Everyone knows that they're the only original Mediterraneans. But it's because they're linked to the incarnation of Skenderbeg, the Catholic, that stopped Turks from invading into Italy and advancing their positions. But the Albanian will betray his oversoul, who he is linked to, and God, without even realizing it. A lot of these Albanians don't realize that you're betraying the Christ force. And I wouldn't say that to you if you're an Arab. If you're an Arab, you have a lower level evolution, so stay with the Quran until you come onto this side. But if you're linked to Skenderbeg through your blood, if you're linked to George, if you're linked to whiteness and the Christ force, you know what? It's your choice, but don't come to us when you don't feel like an Albanian anymore. You feel like an Arab now. And some of you Albanians are like, well, Zherka, what about my Muslim parents? I'm like, put them on a call with me on stream right now. They'd be laughing their ass off, and they'd be like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, you can go to a church with Zherka. They would. Do you think they'd hate me, you fucking idiot? No. But you put me on a stream, on a call with Arab dads, they would hate me because they'd be like, no, this is our instinctual blood tie. But no Albanian has an instinctual blood tie to no fucking camel shit. Fuck are you talking about? We rode horses, bro. Snap out of it. And look, man, I'm just gonna say it. When have you ever seen an Albanian that's bad with women? That never exists. That Mediterranean energy is so dominant in living an enjoyable life. You should bathe in that energy, not run to Arabs. You know what I mean? Hell, have some time being an atheist. That's even better for a little while, just until you delete those thought forms, those camel thought forms. But yeah, is Nick white? Yes, he is 100% white. I don't care what you guys say. Is ASU Margaret white? 100% white. Are they on the same level of whiteness? In my opinion, they are, right? Or else I'd feel an anger towards that. And people are like, well, look at the sheets, look at the. No, what the fuck? No. Um, no, and they're both born in America. So they've got an American energy to them. Like these guys should be on the same team, but Nick was so smart. He knew that he was going to get betrayed by ASU. He knew, and ASU is going to look hilarious when he's running around with Arabs as the only Aryan guy. He's gonna look like Sonny Fast. So, and he's not gonna like that look. He grew up in Arizona. He knows white people. Like what the fuck? So, he's doing it to himself. We support both. They're both great, but unless the ASU guy becomes his content turns religious, then if you don't stay with the Christ force on earth, you are not a follower of mine. Okay, that's just like, come on. We can support people, we can like their shit, but misleading people is, come on, dude. This is not a joke. This is the next question is Nick talking shit about the Balkans niggas. Bro, stop. The Balkan niggas, whether they're at a fucking coffee shop, everyone from the Balkans, whether they're at a coffee shop or wherever the fuck they're at, on the internet, all Balkan people do is talk about themselves. And it's like nobody gives a fuck about these tiny countries. I tell these guys to their face every day, I'm like, you're embarrassing us when you're talking about your country all the time. In America, nobody even knows where your country is on the fucking map, and you're pretending like the world has to know. Like, no human goes around saying, point Madagascar on a map. Like, stop embarrassing us. It's embarrassing when a Croatian and a Bosnian and Albanian guy try and tell me, yo, did you watch the news for back home? What home? What are you talking about? Do you think I follow the poll? I don't even vote there. What are you fucking talking about? I'm not following any of that. What are you talking? You're not either. You grew up in America. What the fuck are you talking about? And people are like, well, no, you can't just you gotta watch the news channel and no, dude, you're supposed to individuate. If you're in America, use the American oversoul and go far in your life and then go back to your country and fucking feed them, do something for them. But don't just stay as the same guy at the same coffee shop for the rest of your life in a tracksuit, right? Smoking your Marlboros. Like, there's more to life than that. Use the Atlantean energy, and it can I beg of you. All right. And people are saying, dude, you're too nice to Nick. You're too nice. That's how look at what I said in 2018. It's the same opinions, bro. My opinions don't change. If you want me to be critical of Nick for one thing, okay, here it is. Okay. And I don't know if it's just me being, I'm just being an angry guy today, or if I've been noticing this for a few months, and I think I have been noticing this for a few months. Nick Fuentes, right? The leader of the right wing. And then it's Myron, right? And I'm not really political, but I guess I'm a general in case these guys get killed. Yeah. I'd say Clav and me are more about individuation, and these guys are more about the group soul thinking. So it depends which way you lean, right? So I'd say ours is more fun, but Clav and I could go to prison. Where Myron and Nick, they can't go to prison unless it's Israel. They only have one political prison they have to avoid, right? Somehow. But Clav and me, we're just running people over. That's a joke. That's a joke to the mods. Okay. Yeah, my only critique of Nick is like, do I think Nick is Mexican? No, I think he's white. I think you think he's white. I think anyone saying he's a Mexican in the fucking chat is coping. But Nick is awfully restrained for the last few months. I don't know if it's just me seeing this, but he's been really. If there's one thing we can critique him on is he's kind of on the back foot when he's talking to Sneako's Muslims, his Muslim chatters. They'll come infiltrate, and it's like for the last few months, all we see is Nick saying, "Hey, Sneako, I think we're friends, but you're always attacking us." And Nick is always on the, he's not on the back foot. He's never like this. I'm like, what happened? There's no way it's just politeness. Like, what the fuck happened? And nothing happened. It's just he's being a nice guy. They had like some dinner together and stuff. And 99% of Sneako's content is we pray in the streets of New York and fuck your bitches, your white bitches. Fuck you gonna do about it, Nick? But he doesn't say Nick. He's talking to the audience because he knows that they're in his chat because Sneako used Nick to level up. I don't know how nobody remembers that. well, no, he had a lot of followers, and really at the time he was low viewers. He's Nick, and it's like not to start shit. They should remain friends, but this idea that Nick has to pussyfoot around the Sneeko question, right? The SQ, while Sneeko's just fucking badgering and destroying and just literally, you're a cock. We took over New York with Mandani. Yeah, we took over that shit. Give me that. That's mine. We pray here in the mosque. We pray on the streets because this is a race war. And all the white people are like, no, no, we gotta be cuck little bitches. We gotta get ASU guy to fucking pray on the streets. And he better not do that. And Nick is like, hey guys, do you guys gotta pray on the streets? You gotta do that? It's like, what are we talking about here? This is the Nick Fuentes channel. He should say, Sneeko, shut the fuck up. Boom. And Sneeko will just be like, yap, 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 and then he'll calm down. He won't snake him again, right? And it's like, dude, I'm telling people, it feels like Twilight Zone. I'm an old ass nigga, but it feels like this old show. Google Twilight Zone. It's crazy. It's such a good show, right? It's black and white. It was actually. I'll post about it after, okay? And I'm wrapping it up right now, but I'm telling you right now, let's fucking eat. I'm telling you right now, if we see another Nick Fuentes clip where he's saying, "Hey, Sneeko, play fair, be nice," if we see one more of those clips, I am going to attack Sneeko on every single space I get on for the next whole of 2026. And I am every little clip I'm going to watch and say, here's another Nick Fuentes interaction with Sneeko where Nick is afraid and Sneeko's literally shitting on white people in their own fucking towns, in their own countries. And I'm going to hyper fixate on that until Nick goes, you know what? Zherka's crowd they're like the Myrmidons, they're forward, their ship is forward, like Achilles' sail, like that Brad Pitt movie. They won't get off my ass. They're hyper analyzing every clip. They're making me look bad. No, dude, we haven't done years and years of this shit nonstop, no problems. We never had one fucking problem with Nick. And now the problem is gonna be what? Sneako's smile? His big smile, like we're conquering America and there's nothing you can do about it. And Nick is like, well, okay, well, I guess I'll be a little rude. He's being a lot rude. What the fuck? He's being a lot rude. Someone grab every clip of Sneeko being rude to the white movement. Compare it to Nick. Nick hasn't even hit back once. And then people are like, well, maybe it's because Zherka, you attack. Bro, I'm gone for a few weeks. I'm not really a part of that. I'm talking about people who are live every day. They're really active. I was like, no, no, no. Dude, the hardest right wing channel is not going to appease green flags and all this fucking camel shit. No way. Hell no. Hell, if we start doing that, I even think, fuck this shit. If we start doing that, what is the point of being, oh, I'm anti-Zion, I'm anti-Jew. There's no point to that if you're letting fucking Muslims enter New York. There's no point to any of this. That's not how, this is getting fucking weird. You know, this is getting fucking weird. I mean, I look on Twitter. I'm like, why am I the only one saying this? Why is everyone else cool with letting them? Bro, they have mosques, so they have a place to pray, and they choose the streets. You think white people will go to Saudi Arabia and do that shit? They never, even if they could, they wouldn't do that shit out of respect. These people don't have soul respect. They're fucking animals. The ones that don't pray are cool, but the ones that have to go downtown and do that, you know what they're doing, man. Don't ever think, hey, I'm Nick Fuentes. We're cool with the Muslims. No, we're not. When they stop praying on the streets, then you can do that you're doing. But right now, no, we're not. And that's the end of the call. You are listening to Zerkology Radio.